Hi everyone, welcome to our live stream reaction for Ethnikos Telekos 2025. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am sharing the screen with Dom and Chris. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hey Dylan, good, thank you. How are you?
Great, thank you. So let's start. Let's dig in. Without further ado, we are happy to announce you that Klavdia and her song Asteromata won the Greek selection and will represent Greece at the Eurovision 2025 in Basel. Let's just start with this evening and the organizing of the first national selection for Greece since 2017. What did you think of it, guys? Did you like it, and specifically the format?
First of all, I'm happy that they did that again and that it wasn't in a mall because there's been sometimes they did that actually. And also Greece is known for not having that big of a budget. And I think considering that, the show was quite decent and quite nice. I like the fact that they had two of the biggest Greek Eurovision stars, I would say, Zakis and Helena, as the host. And they used it for a lot of interval acts. I love the fact that the interval acts were in the beginning. I wrote down, it took 52 minutes for the first entry. I was like, is that the wrong show? At some point, I was a bit worried that I missed something. Or did I miss the first performance already? No, you're fine. So that was weird. And they literally showed every single Greek Eurovision song. Sometimes even twice. So that was hilarious. I liked the staging, even though it was a bit too small for my taste. So it kind of gave me San Marino vibes. But the production itself was good. The quality of the LED was nice. I liked the sound. Everything was fine. I've heard much worse at Eurovision selections. And I think the variety was there. There were Greek songs and also English ones and some heavy hitters in terms of the names. For example, I'm not that much into the Greek music or in the industry, but Evangelia is a name I know before the participants have already showed a song. So that's already something which is cool, that there are bigger names participating there. That also is maybe a sign that Eurovision still has a high value in Greece, which I like.
Yeah, definitely. So overall, good opinion. What about you, Chris?
Definitely, yeah. I was so happy with tonight's national final. I agree with you, Dom. I think the staging was a little bit small, but I kind of expected it before tonight. I thought the size of the audience was great. I thought the attendance by people tonight was really, really good. But yeah, I'm really glad that we've got this national final back, Ethnikos Telekos, because tonight has been able to showcase how deep the Greek music scene is. And normally within the past few years, it's been internally selected Greece's entry, and then that's been our Eurovision entry. Whereas tonight we've had a really, really good mix we had rock from Thanos, we had a whole load of bops that I absolutely loved, and we had Greek music, a bit of English in there, and yeah, it was just a really, really fantastic showcase. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I hope they keep this kind of national final thing going on, because there are so many amazing artists in Greece, and yeah, as that was shown tonight. So yeah, I was happy.
Perfect. Everyone seems to have had a good evening. Let us know, guys, in the comment, how did you like the evening and the format? Because we would be happy to share your opinion and to have actually some input. We've had Dom and Chris already. Personally, I think it was a good organization, to be honest. I didn't expect such quality show from Greece. It gave something that we didn't have for a while also when it comes to the audience and the play. So I agree with you guys. I think the stage was a bit small, but I somehow enjoyed the location. It somehow gave me this theater vibes, something we haven't had in a while. And I really, really liked that. I think also, just as Dom said, it was a bit funny that most of the interval acts were at the beginning of the show, and then we had commercial breaks. I think that was a bit disorientating at some points for many of the international audience, especially because he said, Dom, that they spent 53 minutes on the intro and the interval acts, and I think they spent about as much time for the actual songs, which is crazy when you think about it, because we've had 12 songs tonight, 12 amazing songs, and let's dig into that without further ado. We have a winner. We have 3 finalists as well. I think there is not much of a surprise when it comes to the final 3, right? We all agree on that?
Mm-hmm. Completely agree.
First time I agree with all of these 3. Usually there's an odd choice within the top 3 if they do this kind of system. But I was like, yep, I agree with that. And the second one, yep, totally. And the third one, obviously, Evangelia. I was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I was like, well, I don't really care anymore because all of these songs were pretty good. So I could have seen all of these finalists as a representative. So then for me, at least, the pressure was a bit down because there was not a song which I was like, oh, please don't, Grease. So that was good for my nerves, you know?
All right.
Definitely. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I think any of these 3 songs, Barb's, Evangelia, Klavdia, any of them could have gone, and I think it would have made it into the top 10 at the final at Eurovision, in my opinion. But yeah, they've gone with the fan favorite. So
yeah. Which shouldn't come as a surprise, since she was also the favorite in the odds everywhere. So I think we all agree on saying that it was a good finalist. But would you think, guys, that she has won because of her position in the odd and in the fan base, or do you also think that she was actually the best tonight? Chris?
I think that, like, vocals wise, I think she was definitely up there. The thing that brought it down for me, and I saw again in a lot of comments during the performances, is the staging. I think people were expecting a bit more. Personally, I love the focus on her, and again, I think we will get it, but this needs to like take us on a journey now in BASEL, and I think like if they can somehow make this like teleport to like, because this song is stunning, Asteromata, it's like a song to like the gods, it's incredible, but if like we can have a little bit more creative staging, again, not comparing, but a little bit like Aliona and Jerry Hale, like that kind of like kind of aesthetic of like taking us to somewhere different and making us feel as if we're not on a stage, we are somewhere else, then I think this could be really captivating in BASEL. But yeah, so hopefully she's got the team behind her that can make that vision a reality.
But I think you're not the only one to have such an opinion. Neil, who's on live tonight again. Hi, Neil. He's clearly sharing your opinion there. Dom, is it also something you would like her to work on, the staging, or do you think she already nailed it?
Yeah, I really like the concept. There's a lot to like work on. I wouldn't scratch it all because usually sometimes they do a totally different staging, and I wouldn't do that with this one because I think it was very effective considering the resources they had. I really liked the camera angles because they were tight. There weren't any wide shots, which I hate, and they usually do that at Eurovision. So let's hope at least they're not doing it for this performance because it was very effectful. Very like being closed up, and then in the chorus they were zooming out, and then you were able to see the dancers, and that was like, ooh, okay, that was cool because like
it's interesting.
First minute in a different perspective, and I really like that. So yeah, and she's hitting the notes, and it's a very demanding song, I would say. So that's always a very good basis because some of the performances tonight struggled a bit, and she was on point. Really, that was very impressive. So that was definitely a standout for me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Vocally speaking, she was amazing. She was one of the best tonight, I think, unlike others. But even though we have to say that, or is it just my opinion, that I think that tonight's performances were better when it comes to vocals than last week for Luxembourg, for instance, to the point that I was actually wondering whether or not they were singing live or if it was just a playback, because some of them were really good and it was really, really change, a nice one from Luxembourg last week. But so we agree that the song is interesting as well. Do you think, though, she would need some of a revamp, perhaps something to bring some sort of a break? Usually Greece does like that, or some up-tempo for the song to try and make it a bit more dynamic? Or would you think that it would actually crush the song and wouldn't work as well as tonight's?
I think it doesn't need anything more. I love the kind of like the a cappella parts, and then when it goes into like that urban bit where like this song, you can cry to it, you can dance to it, it's a song for multiple feelings, which I really, really like. So yeah, personally, I don't touch the song, like it's great, but just a little bit fine tuning the staging now. That's all.
Don't do the Albanian mistake, like changing everything up, mixing it up so you can't even recognize the song you were about to send. This is so disturbing for me. So keep it as it is. And if you would have wanted a break, then you should have gone for the other two songs, because they had a clear break, especially Evangelia. I mean, that was so typical Greek. So if you want this kind of song, they should have voted for this one, but they didn't. So I think keep it as it is, because otherwise I think it would lose a bit of the effect it has. And yeah, I don't think every song should be revamped. I really don't like this approach, which tends to be the case for the recent years. So
yeah, true. Well, apparently people in the audience tend to share your opinion as well when it comes to the winner of tonight's Ethnikos Telikos. So many people actually had this song as their favorite, and this is probably not a surprise that she won, even though we might be a bit surprised by the announcement. I know that usually at Eurovision we all love a good voting session, but this kind of fell flat for me. Like we spent 55 minutes almost on introduction and interval acts. Then we had a recap. Then we had an explanation on how to vote for each and every one of the contestants, like, because apparently they were a bit worried that we might not be able to understand how to vote for our favorite. And in the end, in less than 5 minutes, we got not only the 3 finalists, but also the actual winner. To me, it's a surprise, considering that we actually had like 3 juries involved. Like we had the international jury involved, we had the Greek jury, and the audience. So, isn't it a bit weird, in your opinion, Chris?
Yeah, 100%. I think introducing the international juries at the start and then never coming back to them for the rest of the show seems a little bit strange. I know with other national finals, that's part of the enjoyment, is the suspense building up through the jury voting, and then, oh my gosh, like who's won the jury voting? Can they still win through the televote? So yeah, I found it a bit bizarre that it was quite a slow burner tonight, and then normally we would go live during the results and like see the results coming in, but we didn't even. It was like zoom. It was so quick. We never had a chance to do that. But I mean, it's the way things go. Sometimes at Eurovision, they keep us hanging too long. So like, yeah, this was a little bit too far the other way this time. So yeah, maybe like, I'm sure over the coming days and weeks, we'll get some more clarification about who came where in the results. Yeah, it's a little frustrating to not know that now.
It's a bit like Festival Cengiz, like Albania. I think that's the only contest or like national final, even though like it's an independent thing, but it's pretty much the only thing. Maybe Sanremo, isn't it the same? There's no voting points. I don't know. I don't watch Sanremo. It's too long for me. Because Albania used to be like 100% jury up until like 2 years ago or something. And I kind of had this feeling like, okay, it's already made up, and the public vote had like half of the power, but still don't know which place each participant got. We don't know if it was a clear win or a very close one. We don't know is there a difference between the Greek and the international jury. We don't know, like, was it like the clear top 3, or was someone robbed a bit because like the televote was very hard, but the jury flopped it? I don't know. These kind of things, we have absolutely no idea. So then somehow it's very hard if we don't get the results. It's kind of hard to predict how it might go at Eurovision, because at least the international jury maybe gives you a hint on how the reception of the song is going to be for you. I think sometimes jury vote, if international, is maybe hinting you in some kind of direction, but we absolutely don't have it. And then I'm like, okay, why? As you have said, why do you present everyone? That was kind of funny. Like, yeah, it's the Italian flag. I'm from Italy. That was kind of funny. But then it's like, well, it doesn't matter. You know? So, yeah.
Well, I thought when they brought the girls on stage, I thought, oh, these are like awards, like a Festivali Kengas, like, you know, like, oh, prize for the most promising, or like,
yeah.
They go, no, Eurovision winner, here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's yeah.
I'm actually curious about the voting details, because I really would like to know who was the international jury favorite, for instance, versus the audience favorite. This is very interesting. Well,
about the result, maybe you clicked that arm from Ellen.
Yeah, exactly. Ellen was joining us tonight. Hi, Ellen. Shared some of the results, so we haven't been able to check that yet. But I mean, if those results are true, that I'm fuming, because it's time to come out and tell you that Evangelia was my favorite of the evening. So I'm not going to be happy if she lost only by 2 points, really, guys. But yeah, I mean, it could be interesting to have further details, because again, losing by 2 points could mean a lot or not much, to be honest, depending on where she's when it comes to international juries and national ones. Perhaps we will try to find more about these results. Perhaps they're already online somewhere, but. While we do that, one of us is trying to find further details. Anyone has a thought of the eventual songs that will compete against Greece? We know where Greece is in the semi-finals, for instance, in Basel. I know Chrissy said that it is likely to finish in the top 10 at Eurovision. Do you think, guys, that this is where Klavdia will actually end up? Because again, her semi-final is pretty strong, and is it possible for you that she might qualify, of course, but then fall in a bad position for the final?
Even though they don't have Cyprus, I'm very decent or very sure that she's gonna qualify with this. I mean, all of these 3 finalists would have qualified, I would say. It's just too high of the quality. Also, even though Greece struggled a bit in the past, I would still consider it as a very strong Eurovision country. So usually they always get some points, no matter what. So I think, like, it's a bit shady, but sometimes I'm thinking, okay, if other performances and songs qualify, This Is Love, for example, 2017, I think this shouldn't have qualified. And then I'm thinking, okay, then this is a guaranteed qualifier. You know what I mean? So it's always like, yeah, otherwise it's a bit weird for me and off. So I don't think it's about qualification. And I also think, even though we only have like 4 songs right now, I don't really think the semi-final and the half even would have cared. So it really doesn't matter if it's first or second semi-final, if it's with or without Cyprus. I really think this is gonna qualify.
I completely agree, Dom. Like, I don't think this is a question whether this is qualifying. I think it's definitely qualifying, and I believe they're in the second semi-final, Greece, which I think personally the first semi-final we have a lot of huge big countries that usually send high impact songs to Eurovision. So I think that is also working in their favor slightly. But yeah, like we said before, it'll depend where in the running order this is put in the final. And they need, like, based on tonight's performance, her vocal like is incredible. Like that's sorted. And I've trusted a bit like I did in with Angelina Mango and La Noia. I thought, right, where she can sing this perfectly wherever, whenever. So I kind of get that same vibe with Klavdia, but it's staging now, and it's like, yeah, it just looked a bit plain tonight, and I know it's national final, but I really hope there's, you know, some imagination behind it now, because it's such an amazing song, such a meaningful song. So yeah, I think it deserves to be showcased.
But it's Greece. Greece usually knows how to stage. So there are some countries which tend to struggle, and I think Greece isn't one of them.
I agree. Yeah, we do have the points now, though, and Ellen, I think, was correct. So yeah, the top three: Klavdia with 44 points. There's on Eurovision World, there's no breakdown of the jury or the televote yet, but it says 44 points overall for Klavdia, 42 for Evangelia with Vale, and down to 30 points with BARBZ with Sirens.
All right, that's quite a gap between the second and third. I'm actually a bit surprised here, because before the tonight final, I listened to the song as any proper Eurovision fan, and as you should have as well. But I didn't had any specific feelings when it comes to Sirens. The song was good, I liked it, but I hadn't had any expectations. But tonight, I was actually very surprised by the performance, and I think it was one of the best. So definitely deserved to be in the three finalists. But if I look at the notes I have, for instance, I wrote something that I think was something I didn't find in the others, especially in Evangelia, is that she did probably the best staging tonight, and she had also great vocals. I think the vocals were, of the three finalists, she was second after Klavdia, but she was better than Evangelia, yes. But the staging for me was the best of the three. So I don't know. I think it was a bit, to me, it's a bit surprising that there is such a gap between the second and the third. No?
Yeah, I do agree. I thought I was a little bit nervous for BARBZ tonight, because it sounds like a hard song to sing. It's giving like kind of Billie Eilish vibes to me. And I think she pulled it off really well. It was kind of giving like avant-garde kind of staging as well, which I think Greece hasn't necessarily sent that much before. But yeah, I agree with you, Dylan. I think her and Klavdia had some of the best vocals tonight. We'll go obviously on to Evangelia, but although Vale is incredible song, I wonder if the juries would have got behind it at Eurovision, because I don't think there's that many places that she shows off her vocal. But yeah, no, I agree. Klavdia and BARBZ, though, definitely had the best vocals, I think, tonight.
Yeah. Dom, do you think, as well as Neil, that Sirens was so repetitive, a bit too repetitive perhaps, and that eventually it played against her? Or
Okay, speaking of repetitive, Neil, have you heard all the songs? Because there was one song called High Road, and this song literally consisted of High Road for 3 minutes. So I think that was repetitive, and I think
what was that one about again, Dom?
High Road.
Thank you.
You are. And then the song was afterwards, and then considering this as repetitive, I kind of disagree. Even it may be repetitive, it sounded good. So who cares? So yeah. I really liked it, and I would have been totally fine with this as a representative, honestly. And yes, I've prepared myself. However, I listened to the wrong songs before, because I checked the Spotify playlist, and it was like Greece Eurovision 25, 12 songs. I was like, perfect.
They're not out yet.
Yeah, and then because the artist also matched out, and I was like, okay, listen to it. And then the song from BARBZ was Cinema, and that was the first one. I was like, yeah, that's a good one. I like it. And then it appeared like Sirens. I'm like, oh. So let's give it another try.
You're listening to the greatest hits.
Perfect. Yeah, but then I was like, well, that's also a very good song. So maybe it's not just a one-hit thing. I really like her style, her music style, her vocals. It's just a very nice mixture, and it kind of makes me curious to listen more of the music, which is already a success. Even though you don't win, you get fans or you get audience. So I'm very, very happy for that result.
Yeah, I think it was deserved for her. I know I sound like a broken record here, but I really loved her staging. I think it was very elaborate, and also she had this very smart use of the lights, the LED, and altogether, I think she had the best staging of the three finalists. Very good vocals, and the song, I wouldn't say it was too repetitive to either, to be honest. I think it was much better than most of the songs, but again, I'm not sure that she should have been so far behind the others when it comes to the final vote. We shall see when we have the breakdown of the vote, though. But she came just after my favorite of the night, Vale from Evangelia. So yes, a bit disappointed, of course, I have to say. I think she would have been absolutely amazing on stage, Euroclub as well. God. Little Angel.
They're going to play that regardless, so don't worry.
Oh, well, I don't know. Last year, everybody told me the same about Dam Diga, and then we haven't heard it once in this Euroclub, so I am still Sweden, if you listen to us tonight, you're not going to get away with it. But I agree with Chris. I think perhaps her vocals were a bit under the others. I mean, when I say the others, I mean the top three again, because if we go to Xannova, for instance, vocals, well, she was definitely much better. But she Evangelia had weaker vocals than BARBZ, for instance. However, I don't think this would have penalized her with the audience, but definitely with the jury. I think, Chris, you're right there. Probably the jury would have picked up on that. I think so. Yeah. The break, however, was amazing. I personally loved it. I think it was something that we are used to when we think of Greece at Eurovision, but it works, usually. Dom, you said it before, they should have picked this song if they wanted to have a break. So do you think she would have done a better job than Klavdia, or do you stick to your initial opinion?
I think this would have been a very good choice as well. Maybe even better personally. I would have preferred Evangelia a bit, but I'm also happy about Klavdia, so don't get me wrong. That's also a good one. I was very impressed by the dancing. That was very, very difficult, I think. She was like dancing very difficult choreo for the whole 3 minutes. And considering that her vocals were good, I think, not as good as the others though. Which I really, really appreciate is her vocal tone, because somehow, always, with every song, she managed to be modern, very current, but also traditional within one voice. So I think this blending together makes her songs always very interesting and always something you want to listen more to, because sometimes, in many cases, voices are either very modern, like the one from BARBZ. I think she has a very modern sound, like a bit like Alma. She's got that rasp in her voice, which I really love. Or more traditional one, maybe going into class. What's her name again? Klavdia. These names are so hard to pronounce. Klavdia. I think this is more like the traditional route, which is also a very good one. But I think that's why it's so exciting to listen to her music. And I really, really hope, and I know that's a sentence we used to say a lot, I really hope she's coming back because I really want her to represent Greece at some point. So I was very happy to see her in the final already, that she is doing this. And also like being the runner-up very closely, maybe that's a motivation for her to come back at some point.
Well, let's hope so, yes, indeed. Someone else we've seen tonight that we have seen on the Eurovision stage several times, and that is always a pleasure, is our dear Elena, who's actually, well, her birthday is technically tomorrow, but, let's for the sake of it, celebrate it today. So happy birthday to Elena Paparizou from the Eurovoxx team. How did you like her performance tonight as a host, guys?
Oh, she's great. Yeah, no, she's wonderful.
She's gorgeous,
I loved her and Sakis tonight. Of course, it's 20 years, isn't it, since she won Eurovision with My Number One. So yeah, it felt like a reunion of like all like Greek Eurovision people from the past. And yeah, the energy in the venue tonight was just really, really nice. And although, yeah, I think maybe Sakis and Helena did one song too many at the start.
53 minutes.
Overall, I love their chemistry. And yeah, one day I hope we are back in Greece for Eurovision, and I would love to see them host.
Oh yeah, true.
I love the fact they started with Waterloo, like, oh, inventive guys, like crazy. Now the thing is, it kind of made me a bit nostalgic because like they were really going for this 2001, 5, 4, and 9 representatives, and they kind of were stuck in that area because I think that was the strongest area or period for Greece. I think during the 2010s, they were still strong, but they also had some disappointments considering the results. And I think in the 2000s, they were like a guaranteed top 10 finish, I think. And then it kind of went down, and then they were happy to qualify again. So I had the feeling that they really want to showcase, okay, this was the time we were super strong. This is the time we got our first victory. So I kind of had that feeling, and maybe this is the time they achieve that again. I have the feeling that they have potential with this.
All right. Well, I'm having a look at the chat, and we have some comments about Klavdia's song that I think is interesting to share to everyone about Klavdia's song. Is an invocation to a refugee mother to take off the black clothes and stop crying. The lyrics are amazing. I think it's safe to say that you should qualify. I'm sorry, I can't read the name here. Unfortunately, I don't read Greek Cyrillic. So unless Chris or Dom wants to jump in there. But no,
I know a little bit of Greek, but not that much, sadly.
Let's try. We discussed this a bit earlier. We agree that it should be a safe qualifier, even though Cyprus is not in the semi-final too with Greece. So there you shouldn't be worried about anything, really. And to be honest, it was probably one of the best possible choice tonight. We haven't talked a lot about the other songs. I don't know if you guys have any other of your favorites that didn't make it to the top 3, let's say. Yeah. So perhaps Chris, I think Chris, you loved Barb and Sirens most, and right?
Yeah, definitely. I was just looking at the results then, and to be honest, the top 5 that ended up in the top 5, I agreed with. Okay. 4th and 5th, we had Dinamiss, the power duo.
Oh, yeah.
And then 5th was, and I'm going to say the name wrong, but Xannova Xan with Play It. And she surprised me tonight. Like, I thought, oh, okay, I think I know how this is going to go. The vocals aren't going to be as strong, but that really, like, kind of was a bit of a mic drop, I think, at the end of tonight. And it made me think, I think after Klavdia, there was some really high impact staging songs. So when we started the night, I was like, oh, this is Klavdia's for sure. But then we saw some of the performances and I was like, oh, hang on, maybe someone else can get up there. But yeah, no, like congratulations Klavdia. She's going to do amazing at Eurovision. But there were definitely some other great performances tonight. And I hope that Greece carries on this national final now so that we can get some of the artists coming back.
Yeah. To me, it's funny because I feel like we started with the I would say the weakest songs of the evening of the national final, and then we actually went up all the way to what would be an actual firework of great songs and performers. When it comes to Xannova, I think I said it before, and I will die on that hill. I think the vocals weren't good at the beginning of the song. Perhaps she was just stressed, or perhaps she was just, feeling unwell. But the first minutes of the song was really not up to what she can do. But she proved us wrong when she had to hit the high notes. I think she was then really good, and the performance overall was really good. As I said, it was some sort of a mic drop. So I'm happy to see that she managed to get to the top 5. I think it is well deserved. When it's come to the number 4, I think they came in 4th position, as you said, Dinamiss. I initially, to be honest, I was a bit surprised by the performance. Like, I was like, what is this? I didn't like the staging. I didn't like the outfit of the dancers at all. I like her dance moves and also the outfit she wore, but it was really a nice bop, something I think will go on my playlist and I will listen over and over again. Probably not until I can sing it, because again, language issue, but we'll practice for the dance floor quiz. Dominik, any of your favorites who didn't make it to the top 5?
Okay, first of all, yes, I'm tired, but that's okay. And then second, it's been a day. No, that's the top 3 totally deserved. Dynamics, I like the song in general. I love that, like that very strong beat. Really love that. But the vocals, oof. No, sorry, girls. The chorus was fine, but the no, just no. That kind of gave me like Tattoo from Russia. Vocally, like, ugh, that was really rough, and it kind of gave me that vibe. So no, I'm very, very happy about all these songs, and I agree that the first performance was probably the weakest. It was very strange, and I was like, okay, if we continue like that, it's gonna be a bit rough. But then it improved, song by song, and then I think when we reached to Klavdia, then we were like, okay, now it's on, now it's getting to the serious part. And then there were quite very good performances. I really appreciate it. I must say, the girls dominated this in comparison to the boys. I really have to say, so, yeah, they slayed.
Yeah, thanks women power for this evening, because otherwise it's going to be boring. Let's be honest. I think in the chat I saw a comment from Neil asking whether or not he was the only one to actually like Kostas' song. Kostas and his song Gimu, I think it is the way you pronounce it. So I don't know if you're the only one. We will discuss that. Perhaps, guys, in the chat, you can also let us know which one was your favorite or which one disappointed you most as well. That would be interesting if you had a higher expectation for some of the contestants tonight. When it comes to Kostas and you, well, I'll read what I wrote, actually. I said he had a very nice song, very good violin part, but to me, for instance, it was a bit flat. The tempo wasn't there, the rhythm was just too flat. However, he had a good staging and a nice violin, and I think this is one of the first songs of the evening where I actually paid attention and I was like, okay, this is getting interesting now. Sorry, didn't mean to disrespect the other contestants. I was listening, of course, but it was not catching my full attention. Any of you guys did like also Kostas, or do you think it was a bit flat?
I agree with being monotone, I would say, but it was really Greek. It was really like, okay, you definitely know where it comes from, and what you see, what you get. And I mean, we're watching a Greek national selection, and then you kind of need these kind of songs. I like the concept, I like the breakdown. That was totally fine. But as you have said, it was a bit monotone. And by the end, you were like, okay, I'm a bit over it and tired. So, yeah, it was okay. It was good for him.
Yeah, he was my favorite male tonight, I'd say. Also, yeah, I felt with the first couple of songs, I felt the audience didn't really respond to them. Whereas Kostas was like the first performance where I was like, he was getting the crowd involved. There was a bigger response after, and that led nicely on to the rest of the power songs in this national final. But like we said, yeah, the females dominated tonight.
Yes, exactly. And when it comes to female domination, we have a special request from the chat from Area asking us to react to Marina City's new song. So guys, please jump in. How did you like it?
She sang Zari tonight, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. No, if we'll talk about that, I love the
new song. I'm confused.
No, it's not a new song. Definitely, it was Zari.
I was like, which song are you talking about?
Oh, maybe they mean like it's a new rendition.
Yeah, exactly.
New version. Yeah, that was a new one, definitely.
It was a new version, something a bit different from what we had at Eurovision. Also, I think, well, it worked on me because I liked the Eurovision version, for instance. But something didn't work tonight, and I'm gonna blame the audience, perhaps, because the fact that everybody was sitting in a theater configuration perhaps didn't help for the crowd to actually enjoy the song and to go wild. So I don't know if that's only me, but I really like the new version of the song, even though it was probably not as good as the Eurovision version for me.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like there was definitely some more, whether it was complete lip syncing or not, I don't know. But with her, I know we also had Thanos representing Cyprus this year perform.
Yeah.
No, not Thanos. I've forgotten his name.
Thanos, yes. He had a song tonight, Free Love.
Yes. Who was representing Cyprus? I've completely forgotten at Eurovision because they performed tonight as well.
Oh.
You mean the
Euro fans are going to come for me that I can't remember his name. But he sang Fuego.
Yeah, true. Which was, I mean, nobody can match with Eleni Ferreira. That's my opinion.
No.
I think this would have been a very good option or way to.
Theo Evan.
Yeah.
Him.
Maybe he should have just performed his song for the very first time.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. I mean, there have been, I think, a few occasions where they did that. Or like at least showcase the song they are going to compete with. It could already work as some kind of advertisement.
Yeah.
Even though Cyprus is not in the same semi, so but still.
Yeah. I mean, what caught me with him is his dancing, though. Like he's such a good dancer. So yeah, I think we could definitely have a male bop from him this year, which is up my street, which I'm going to be happy to see.
Obviously, yes, indeed. So apparently there has been a bit of a misunderstanding. I'm sorry. This song was Epanos to Trapezi, and I must confess I don't have any memory of that.
We'll have to go and listen to it after this, and we'll come back to you.
And we will definitely do a reaction video because we love you, area. So that's it for, I think, the interval act. Again, I think we have been through most of tonight's performances. I don't know if you guys have something that actually disappointed you or let you down and you would like to stress tonight about either the contestants or the organization. Just anything?
Well, we already said, just a repetition maybe, that
you
want a scoreboard, you want points, you want the excitement, and that was really missing. And thinking about it kind of made me mad because it was like, oh, we need to rush, and these are the finalists, and this is the winner. You had almost 3 hours, and again, 53 minutes until the first performance. So don't give me that we don't have time. I mean, no. And I've seen like 7 ads with Sakis Ruas advertising water. I mean, no, you had time.
True. Somehow I'm grateful that I know now how is Lidl being advertised in Greece. But apart from that, I must say that indeed some parts were a bit long. But I'm also grateful that Greece took the decision to reorganize a national final selection like that. I think they really did their best and they nailed it. It was a bit too long for some moments, true, but the staging was a bit small. But apart from that, everything else I really liked tonight. I think the hosts were amazing. We had a nice venue as well. And the songs were pretty good overall. We've had 12 songs, which is quite a significant number for a national final, and it's very appreciable because, as I think you guys said before, we've had a full portfolio of what Greece music can be, from something a bit more ethnic to something very modern, almost American. But altogether, I think Greece did a great job, and I'm looking forward next year's edition, hoping that it will be there. So I think it is all for us tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's ETHNIKÓS TELIKÓS 2025, but also our video. If you have time, you can also join our live comment on Benidorm that is going on after. And if you have not subscribed yet, you should subscribe. You should follow us on our social media, such as Instagram, but also I think we have still TikTok, yes. And do not forget to have a look at on our website to get the latest news on Eurovision. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Guy, for joining tonight, and have a great evening.